Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Crushing Land. I'm here today, as you can see, with Genus, and we're super excited to be talking to you about crushing the competition with a winning system. For those of you who have been in the Facebook group, you know that we came out with our Landrichs Blueprint system and released it just a few days ago. We want to thank everybody that's already taken advantage of the opportunity that we put out there. But as we told you guys, we're going to talk about that today, what's included and what makes us different and all of those things. And for those of you who may be watching this on YouTube or maybe listening to it on the podcast and have no clue what I'm talking about, we did release the Landrichs Blueprint Home Study Course System. We're going to go through that on today's episode. We're going to discuss what is included. We're going to discuss, again, what's different about it. We're going to give you guys a deal on it. Right now, for those of you who have been faithful listeners to us for a while, we did release it, soft release in our group, and now we're releasing it to the general public. Still, though, to people that are following us. So, Genus, welcome. I'm sure you have some things you want to say to everybody before we jump in here.
Yeah, man. First off, I just want to thank everybody for, again, taking advantage of the offer that we've put out there. For those people that have been following us for a while that, have been taking our advice and have been doing some deals and making things happen, man. So, with that being said, I mean, we're really excited about this. This offer is going to end real soon. So if you haven't purchased it, if you have questions, ask them. This is what we're doing this today for, is to talk to you guys a little bit, but also answer any questions that you guys may have about the system. I know I've gotten a lot of, how is this different from other systems? Well, the number one thing I'll say to that is it's our philosophy. It's Jonathan's teachings. It's our 10-step process that we have. And don't get me wrong, some things obviously overlap like with anything else, but the majority of what we do is exactly how we run our business every day, which is a little different than most people. So, again, we just want to thank you guys for being on. Ask questions. You can start asking them now. And, as we're going through stuff, we'll start to hit on these questions as well.
Yeah, I know we are monitoring it in different areas. We see it here on Facebook, a couple different spots on Facebook. Obviously, this is in the group. It's in the event itself. We're watching both of them. So if you see us looking around, that's what we're doing. It's on YouTube
and our shirts
as well.
Don't match, so Dennis. Our shirts.
I would see that, yeah. The camera is making it look like we didn't do this on purpose. The shirts don't match. They look like they do, but we're not in uniform. We're just both in shirts, button-up shirts. But mine is like stripe and red that the camera's throwing off, and I think Gina said his is gray. So for some reason, the camera's doing that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So if you guys think that we're matching, then great. That's fine too. But all right, so let's just jump into it. I mean, you know what? A little background, I guess. First, I said this in a video last week, but for those of you who didn't watch it, those who are watching now, a little background on how this entire thing, I guess, came about. Is, when Genus and I started working together, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and we've both been in the real estate industry, and we're not going to go over our entire history, and we both, we've done different things, and we have a lot of experience in different real estate backgrounds. But when we started working together specifically for the land method and doing that and creating that a little over a year ago now, it's hard to believe it's been that long already, but
yeah, right.
Actually, it's been about 16 months or so. It's, our goal was not this, because we were basically like, well, we're not the gurus, we're not going to be one of these people that's just out there selling information like everybody else. And that's all they do, right? Our thing was about teaching. It was like, okay, people know us, people follow us, people like to work with us, people know what we do. And so because of that, we're going to teach them, and they want to come to us. And we've done that. As of those of you who have been following us from the beginning know, we've done different trainings in our group. We've done different live trainings that many of you have purchased and participated in, where we just kind of go through our business A to Z. So we call it, right, A to Z training. I mean, what we do in our business day in and day out. But despite that, as that was going along, many of you reached out to us and said, can you put together something where you're taking those same type of trainings, but instead of that one-on-one higher level, honestly more expensive, right, format, can you do something that still brings that to us where we can learn from you, but it's more in like a course format. Yeah. So instead of interactive, it's right, it's watching stuff, right? It's listening to stuff, it's reading stuff. It's not watered down, right? We're not, what works, but it's obviously you lose the interactive part, which to some people it's very important. And that is something that obviously as you grow, you look into. But we understand also that if you're brand new, that may not be the easiest jump, right? And so we heard it.
Yeah, and not only that, a lot of times, some people, and we've heard this a lot, right? When we just did last year, all we did was, I think we did 4 or 5 small group trainings, average of about 10 people in a training on average. So, we kept it very small, very homey, very, everybody is still to this day able to ask questions, get their questions answered. The issue that we ran into a lot of times when we speak with people is, hey man, I don't have $6,000-7,000, right? I only have a few hundred. I only have this. I only have that. So come out with something that's going to help us out, right? And that's what we've done with this product, and we're actually giving it to everyone at 50% off in the group currently. Why? Because again, you guys are the only ones that know about this. Now other people will know about it because we're doing this live, which will be on YouTube and on the podcast and so forth. And that's why that promotion is going to end real soon. So again, take advantage of it. Ask us questions. Let us know how we can answer any questions that you have or any myths that you have or whatever about home study courses and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, it's all in there. It's very broken down as far as, picking an area, getting a list, mailing the letters, talking to sellers, doing your limited research, making your offer, right? It's all broken down to videos and it's straight to the point. So we're not giving you stories of, some people that did a deal and testimonials and, none of that stuff. It's straight. This is how you do it. Jonathan is sharing the screen and walking you guys through how to do it. Right. Again, take advantage. If it's something you want to do, I know some of you guys already have purchased courses in the past and they're like, okay, how is this different? What are you guys doing different that the other land guys are not doing? Well, first of all, is our approach. And Jonathan, if you want to dive a little deeper into just letting them know what our approach is and versus a lot of these other people out here, maybe they get a better feel.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that's huge, I think, for us is I am not a one-trick pony, and I don't believe in that, and I don't believe that's the way you should run your business. There's so many people out there that come to us and came from other things, and they'll be like, well, everything is blind offers, right? Blind offers. So, do we use blind offers? Absolutely, right? But we also have a very specific way that we use them in conjunction with other things that we do that bring us a higher return because of that, better results. And again, you could see our results. You could see what we're out there doing. I mean, we're not out there just selling information, right? Our business is our selling land. I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, you see we're posting it out there. You see our for sale price. Post. You see our closing checks. And I mean, we're showing you guys that stuff right now, right? As opposed to, hey, here's a deal I did in 2013 that made us 100. It's like, who cares? You lived on that for the last 9 years. Obviously not. So, we don't just focus on one single aspect, some people focus on, just they call it neutral letters. We don't call it that. We call it an initial letter. Why do we call it initial letter? Because that's where we start. That's our starting point. We don't focus on one method of selling. Some people teach seller financing up and down. They say you can do cash, but it's like, try to seller finance as much as you possibly can. We don't necessarily agree with that. No problem with seller financing. Don't get me wrong. We do tons of seller financing deals, but I don't preach it up and down for various reasons. And we get into that in this course. The other thing that's, I think is a big difference is that it's what's working right now. And you can say, well, that's just because it just came out. But part of the thing is it's all in video form, like Gina said, and it's me talking to you like I'm talking right now. A lot of it is me showing screens and showing how things are. But because of that, because it's in video form, because it's easy to update that information. And so when things become replaced, things change. That's just the way it is. The world that we live in is everything gets replaced. I mean, just watching this, you should understand that. I mean, if we went 5 years in the past, would you have been watching us talking to you here on a Facebook Live in an event, right? No, right? You might have been watching it on YouTube. Would you have been listening to it in a podcast? Maybe, but probably not, right? So even that, so the same's true in real estate and everything in life, right? Things change. And so we have to adapt to that. And so they're always going to be updates. So whenever things are updated, you know, we're going to make sure we make a new video or replace the video that needs to be updated, and you get current information for what's working. And we'll always do that just because we're current. So what works for us is what we're going to be teaching. It's not going to be some course that was created, 10 years ago, and basically nothing's changed since then. So that's a huge difference with different things that are in there. And we do give it to you in different forms. I mean, I'm talking about videos, but you don't have to watch a video. We realize probably most people prefer that. That is a preferred way of doing things, but there is audio formats. There is a written format as well. So, I mean, it is all in there where you can learn whichever way is best for you. We're not forcing you to watch a video, but it is all in there in videos and me sharing screen, things like that. And we realize, I mean, in reality, that's the way 90% plus of you is probably going to want to take the information in.
Plus, in addition to that, I mean, you have, there's bonus videos that are like directed for certain situations. I mean, there's just some things you can't teach, unfortunately, in a video format that's going out to basically more people than just that small group that we do in the A to Z. So that's why there is a difference, but there is a lot of like videos, bonus videos in the training that are just specific to like tips on working with buyers, having the right people in place, right? Mortgage versus contract for deed versus lease purchase, like just owner financing tips, subdivision development. I mean, there's different bonus videos to help you with all of these different things that are going to come up. Now, there's always going to be things that come up that you're like, well, this ain't in there. Well, it's because certain things you just have to kind of cross that path when you get there, kind of per se. So, I mean, they're not going to be in there, right? But the majority of everything you need in order to be successful, in order to successfully get a list, get letters out the door, talk to sellers, talk to buyers, close deals, the whole closing process, all the documents, everything that you need in order to successfully do this business, it's in the system. So there's nothing that's left out. There's nothing, as I would say, half-assed about it. In a sense, it's more of like, it's straight to the point, because if you guys have been following us, for those that have been following us, know kind of how myself and Jonathan is. I mean, we're pretty straight to the point. We're 100% honest. We say it like it is. Some people I like it, some people don't like it. Unfortunately, that's who we are. We're not going to change who we are. But, again, we want to put the best product out there, but also keep it up to date as well, as Jonathan stated a little bit ago. So when things do change, if there's tips, suggestions, things of that nature, I mean, we're always open to it. May not happen overnight, but it will happen. We have kind of talked about setting time aside every several months to just kind of review what we have, what, if anything, has changed, and then going in there and taking the time to update it, right? This is the issue that a lot of speakers and so-called gurus have, is that they put the information out there and they don't bother to look at it, because in most people's mind, it's like, okay, if 2 people are complaining and 100 people have it, what does it matter, right? Whereas we come in and say, hey, that was only like a 20-minute video. It's going to take you maybe an hour to redo the right way. Why not take that time to satisfy those other 2 people as well, right? Versus just the other 98 and leaving the other people out. So that's kind of how we think. That's kind of how we try to run our businesses. And again, we want to make it a win-win for everybody, but we also really want to truly help you get to that point. We know there's a lot of people that follow us in the group that don't have a ton of money. And as you know, in this business, the most expensive thing you're going to spend money on is your marketing, right? So if you have money for marketing, Now you only need a little bit of money for the system, right? Because right now it's at a great deal at 50% off. So, yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. And go ahead, Jonathan.
I mean, a couple of things what he was just saying. I mean, first off, one thing that's different, it's a big difference, is everything that we bring to you, I personally test first. I do it. I come up with and I'm running. Like, for example, we've made a couple changes recently to some, I'll give you two examples. One, we had a document that we were using for a while, and just about 6-8 months ago, before we released this, one of the attorneys I was working with said, don't use that anymore. He said, just the way it's worded, he says, it's a little funny. He says, you could be setting yourself up funny. He's like, let me change it for you. So he changed it. We paid him to do that. We went over why that was the case. We used it, and then we immediately changed the document. We removed the one he said not to use anymore, because why even leave it out? If he's saying don't use it, this is a bad document, why use it, right? So we ditched it. We got rid of that document. This was for our A to Z people because they had access to all of our documents. We removed it, and then we put that one in. Now, because anybody that buys a system also gets the documents, that's going to be true for you too. So you're going to get that new updated version. You're not going to get the one from 6-8 months ago that we were using. It was a fine document, but it changed based on, some things that changed. So that's an example. The other thing that's the thing is, like, right now, I'm testing a few different things with our initial letter. They're not major changes. It's basically just changing some font schemes and the way things are and how they look, just to see which one does better. And if we see a remarkable difference, then guess what? That's going to be the new standard that we're going to give to you. So things that I'm testing in my business and me being relevant, right? Me doing this day in and day out. And Gina's too, Gina's doing the same thing. Both of us doing these things day in and day. That's the stuff that we're bringing to you. It's not just, oh, you know what? Times have changed. We think we should make a change. We don't make a change for the sake of making a change, right? We make a change because we've actually already done it and see that it's valuable. We see that it's important.
And it's just like the course as well. Like, I mean, we're not just putting out a course out there. We've already had 50 people review it, look it over, test it out, make sure it's, it's easy to follow along for not only someone that's brand new, but also someone that's already kind of doing deals and experience, because this is not tailored for one kind of person, right? This is tailored for anybody that's looking to make money, whether you've been trying and have been unsuccessful, whether you're brand new, whether you're already doing some deals and just want to add a different way or approach of doing it to your tool belt. So that's kind of where we are with this. And this is why we kind of developed this, is because it's not for one person. It's like myself. I buy systems. I pay for coaching till this day. Why? Because I'm always in learning mode. There's not enough. I don't know everything. Jonathan doesn't know everything. And I continue to invest in myself all the time because I want to be as successful as I can be as well.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it wasn't overnight. I mean, this was being put together over a number of months. It went through different phases and went through different testing and went through, Gina's mentioned 50 different people or so, looking at it and watching it and reading it and all these different things, to throwing ideas back at us and being like, hey, this is really great. But, because people learn in different ways. And we implemented a lot of things that they, adjusted it because of that. The information is the information. That's the bottom line here. If you buy this program, if you buy this course, the information, it's just the 30,000 foot view. That's the difference, right? It's the general view of the business. Is it enough to go out and do the business? Absolutely, right? We're giving you the information to go out and do the business. The difference between this and the training is obviously you're losing that interactive aspect, being able to ask questions, having it being catered to you. The difference between, so that's a much lower version, right? And then the version after that would obviously be working with somebody one-on-one. Well, now that person's basically, they're still following the same information, but they're interjecting themselves into your business. So I actually worked with, just this morning before this, I was having a call one-on-one with one of my students, and it was very specific. It was like, well, this is this, I'm working with this professional. How do we handle this? How do we put this together with this seller? How do we, and it's a very high-end deal, right? So the concepts of that kind of stuff is it brought out in the program? Absolutely. Are the actual specifics? No, it's impossible to have the specifics for everything, but it is well enough to go out, get the business rolling, get it going, get a very good idea. Like I said, that 30,000 foot view of the program, of how this works, how it all goes together. And then from there, grow it into a business. Because obviously that's, what we want you to be able to do.
Yeah, but just like anything else, man, if you buy the system and you let it sit around and not do anything with it, you're going to still get the same results you've gotten if you haven't done anything, right? So you still have to be consistent. You still have to take action. You have to follow along, and you got to put in the work at the end of the day. It's just like with anything else. If you don't put in the work, if you're not willing to put in the work, don't spend your money. Even though it's not a lot of money, $650, still save your money if you're not going to do nothing with it, right? At that point, there's no need to just add another system, get another membership, and just never log into it, right? And now if you're planning on actually putting in the work, if you're planning on actually doing something, as far as following the steps, then yeah, the system's for you. Go out and do it. We do have a question, Jonathan. I've been in real estate since 2009, but as an agent and rehabber, I've never known or have done anything with land. In the agency side of things, there's ebbs and flows in the market, buyer's market, seller's market, neutral, etc. Right now is a seller's market. In land, does the same thing happen? Are there market drivers in the land business that make it more of a sellers versus buyers?
Absolutely. I mean, so when you think about real estate, and you mentioned since 2009, agent rehabber, that's actually the world we came from, honestly. I was an agent, just straight up agent. Then I got into commercial real estate, commercial agent. And then I was doing investments. I was working for investors. And then I started doing my own investments, and we were flipping houses, and we did 2008 short sale flips and REOs and all of that stuff. And then we got into land about 10, 11 years ago now. So, but the reality is real estate is the land, right? The house is an improvement. The building is an improvement. So real estate is the land. So it still follows the same trends. What happens right now, for example, when it's a seller's market and houses are up, what does that mean there's a need for? More homes, right? It's the bottom line. More homes are needed. If you need more homes, what does that mean you need? More land. So what does that mean? Land prices are up. So yes, same thing happens in now. That doesn't change anything. And we discussed this in the system. It does vary, it changes maybe, where we can sell for. In a market like this, you can sell much higher, right? So obviously you pay more for it. In a market you can't sell as high, you pay less for it, and again, we give you, that's in the we didn't really talk about this, and we'll talk about it. I guess now's a good time to talk about what else is, we talked about just the videos, right? The other thing that's included, and the documents, we have all of our documents, but we also have resources to help you with that type of thing, how to do comps, all that stuff. We also have a calculator in there that helps you come up with the best offers to make based on the current condition. And the way we designed that calculator was that we can go in and we can say, this is what we would do right now in 2022 in a hot market. But you know what? If the market starts to slip, we can adjust it and say, maybe more in this range. And then if it goes back to where it was in 2008, 2009, we can say, well, more back in this range. So just looking at that, it's virtual there. You can plug in your numbers and it gives you all of that and you can read it. It helps you with that, right? The other thing to mention that's in there that we forgot about is we know some of you are a little bit more advanced and some of you are more like go-getters. So what we did was we created a 4-video series, Turbo Start, where basically we go through the entire program. They're longer videos because there's 4 of them, but we go through the entire program in those 4 videos. And obviously, if there's certain concepts that make a ton of sense, you kind of get that, great. And if you don't, then you can go watch the full video for that particular thing instead. So it kind of just lets you get out there and fast track it and get your business going. So, but yeah, when it comes to, the thing out there, the ebbs and flows, yeah, absolutely. I've seen that in houses. I've seen it in land, and have lived it in both. But, there's still plenty to be had, plenty of deals to be had out there. And the nice thing is when it comes to land, for those of you who are coming from that world and asking about that is there competition? Yes. Is it heavy competition even in this market? No. People are worried about, oh my word, 3 or 4 people are sending me a letter on my property now. And I'm like, if you were in the house world, you'd be getting 100 of them, 3 or 4 is nothing.
I get about 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah. Houses would be crazy. So is there more competition? Sure. Because the market's hotter. And is it all investors? No. Some of it's real estate agents. Because real estate agents are targeting land again now. Why? Because obviously if they got a $50,000 piece of property and they get a 10% commission, it's $5,000. Why would they not? Right. So that goes away. Real estate agents don't really target land much when the market starts to soften because people aren't going to buy and build as much. So, and we adjust to all of that. And again, that's in the program. So I see some others are kind of popping up here.
I have one here. I'm only interested in selling land. Would you recommend getting a real estate license or skip it? You don't need a license. We're both licensed agents, but I don't practice it. I just keep my license active because it was so hard to get. I'm not going to let it go now. But I don't.
He's saying he's only interested in selling the land. Does that mean you don't own it? If you don't own it, you would need a license. Like if you're selling it for somebody else.
Yes.
You can't go sell for somebody else without a license.
If you're negotiating for other people, you need a license. If you're putting it under contract for yourself and then you're going to wholesale it out, then you don't need a license for that. I believe.
But remember, if you're doing that, you have to be buying it too. I mean, you can wholesale and assign, and then yes, there is. If you wholesale and assign it, then technically you're only selling it, but you're still facilitating it, right? And you're technically still in the middle doing something with your buyer. So if you're saying you're only interested in selling the land, as in like selling other people's and collecting money for doing that, a commission, then yes, you would need a real estate license, and you can only work in the state that you're licensed in. If I don't recommend that, what's the point? Why sell for other people and make the money for them when you can buy and sell it for yourself and make better profits? All right. So, there's really no reason to be, to go out and try to get licensed. Not saying not to get licensed, but there's no reason not to focus only on selling land as a licensee in a certain area.
Yeah. And then somebody put, so there are 3 packages. Yes, we have 3 products currently. We have the Landrichs Blueprint, which is the home study system. We have the A to Z group coaching, which is our small group training that we offer once every few months. Today's the final week of our current training. And then we do one-on-one personal coaching. Myself, Jonathan, and we have currently 2 coaches that will be coming on board here very soon, that are doing some good deals, making some money, and are willing to help others as well. So yes, we do have those 3 products currently at the moment. And that's probably the only products we'll come out with at this point.
Yeah, because there's really no need beyond that. There's 3 levels of it, but there's really nothing, there's no other level. I mean, it's either small group, intimate group, which is the middle one, the A to Z, then obviously one-on-one, like we're in your business at that point, right? We're like literally in your, we're deal by deal, situation by situation. We're just there. Or obviously this view here would be, going into, just an overview of the entire business, but still enough to go out and do it. And, we've mentioned it a few times. I mean, just so you guys understand. So if you go to our site, landrichsblueprint.com, and you click the order button there, in the coupon code, type the number 50, and then OFF, all in capital letters, 50 off, and hit the little check mark, and it'll take 50% off of the price. So like Gina said, it's like $650 down from $1297. So if you're ready to jump on this and you've been waiting for this video and you were like, yeah, we want to hear more about it, and that's it, honestly, I mean, you're not, in our opinion, I mean, first off, you're not gonna get a better deal because there's no program out there that's selling, that's going to give you that good of a discount right now. Nobody's doing that, for one. 2, we really do believe, this is the best program that is out there because it is updated, it's relevant, it has constant information. Our documents are not boilerplate documents. I've made very clear about that. Our documents are not documents that other programs are using, where it's like you buy one program, you buy another, and you basically see the exact same thing. We have very specific and different things in our documents for very specific reasons. We've sat down with attorneys. We've done this. We've had attorneys in multiple states check them for different reasons. And so because of that, that's what you're getting. It's a big difference there. So yes, that is something to focus, to really focus on there, because to me, it's one of the hugest things. We had somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but somebody that did our A to Z training and paid that full amount came back to us and said the documents alone were worth the whole thing based on how different that they were. So, and you obviously, for $650, you get access to all of that. So again, it's in the comments, but in the description for the post today that you're watching here, wherever you're watching it, landrichsblueprint.com, and then 50 off to get the half price point.
Yep.
Let's see here. It says I see Joshua whatever. So we see here. It says I would be buying low and trying to sell at a higher price. Yes, exactly. That's what we teach. Buy low, sell for high. I mean, that's the whole thing here. So that's the whole premise to this business. And again, we get into different ways of doing that. Buy low, sell for a higher price. You could do it through financing. You could do it through cash. You could do it through double closing. You could do it through assignments. You could do it buying it straight out and holding it in certain, and we'd get into all of that.
Yes, and we do all of that as well. We don't do many assignments, but we do, the seller financing, the double closes, the straight buy, and then resell, things of that nature. So what are the price of the 3 packages? The home study course, $1297. Again, right now, landrichsblueprint.com. Promo code 50 off, OFF, capital letters. You get 50% off. We have the small group training is $7,000. This is a small, intimate group, typically around 10 people. Currently, I think we have 9 in the class. So it stays around, I'd say 15 or so. It would be probably our max. So, again, we try to keep it small and intimate, make sure everybody can ask questions. And then the personal one-on-one coaching, we want to kind of get to know you. Prices do vary, just depending on if you want to work with myself or Jonathan versus one of our coaches, if you want the 6 week, if you don't want it. So it's always easier to schedule a call. Give us about 45 minutes to an hour of your time. Let's get to know each other. Let's find out, for one, if we're a good fit, right? Because if we're not a good fit, or if we don't feel we can help you, then at that point, we're going to tell you flat out, we're just not a good fit for you. And we'd rather not take your money knowing you're not going to do anything, or we feel that we can't help you, versus, a lot of these other people that are, okay, well, you got the money. Let's get the money, right? And then figure it out later. So we're more about reputation. Obviously, we want to keep our reputation up. We don't lie to people, as I stated earlier. We're straightforward, and we want to help as many people out as possible. It's just a matter of, do you want us to help you at that point? So if it's something you have an interest in talking further about, you can just go to thelandmethod.com. There's a schedule on there, a calendar. You can click on it, schedule a time to chat with us. You can reach out to me via DM, reach out to Keely via DM, reach out to John via DM, and say, hey man, I'd like to chat a little bit further about what you guys have going on. It's absolutely free. It's no pressure. That's one thing you'll know about us. If you want to do business with us, great. If we feel we can help you, we're going to tell you that. If you decide, we're not the company for you, that's fine as well. You're not going to change our life either way. We're doing this business every day. We make the majority of our money off of our land sales. And you guys don't see a lot about myself personally throwing my stuff out there, is because I'm more of a quiet, behind the scenes kind of guy. I love to be like that. I don't care about being in the spotlight. I don't care about, doing all this other stuff. For example, I didn't even post it, but just on the 7th, I just closed a deal and made $43,000 profit, which is one of my larger deals. On Monday, I'm getting ready to close a deal and make about 15 or 116,000 profit. But, again, it's not, I don't really talk about it. It's none of my, I'm not the flashy guy, things like that. So, but, at the end of the day, we're in this business every day doing deals. And, again, my focus this year has been on trying to do higher deals. I don't need to do 50 deals at 10,000, that I've been doing over the last few years, on the 35, 40 range, when I can do, let's say, 15 deals at 40,000 a deal or 30,000 a deal, right? And still make a lot more money. So Focus has changed a little bit. Now that we're doing some of this education, we want to keep some time to our students, being able to be in a group to answer questions, and then also still be able to spend time with my family, my loved ones, and things like that. So, managing all of this, it's been somewhat of a challenge a little bit, but it's all about figuring it out. And that's why successful people break through those barriers, because at the end of the day, we all got the same amount of time in the day, right? So,
yeah. And I would say, when we're one of the things to go along with that is, I don't put them out there for the sake of bragging. I don't honestly, I think I've proven myself enough over the years, but we do want people to know that we're relevant, right? And that we're still doing this, because it's so easy for anybody to tell you, I made X amount, and then they don't even show you. And it's like, well, did it actually happen? Or when did it happen? Or I've seen people that put out closing statements and they're like, we just did $100,000 deal, but they basically only show the $100,000 payout. They like cut off the date. It's like, or white out. It's like, why are you blocking it off? I'm like, I put out the whole thing. I block out like the private information, but it's like, why would you hide the date? It's like, are you really doing it right now then? I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're not 100%, but it's like, so when we're showing these things, it's more to actually show you, hey, we're still doing this business day in and day out. This isn't, we're not all about, oh, we're going to sell you a system. And the thing is, you've seen what we do for deals. Gina's just told you, we're talking about $650. How many of these would you have to sell to? It's nowhere even close to what we're doing in real estate itself, right? This is just being able to help you guys, be able to do more and get there. And again, and on a demand that you asked us for in reality, right? You put us and we're like, can you please put something together? Because we want it, we want to learn from this, but we can't do it at this level yet. Yeah. And it was funny. I had a guy that asked me that a few times, and literally I didn't even get a chance to message him back. It was like, he was asking me a couple different times, and like the day it dropped, like within minutes, he was like right on and bought it. It was like, cause that was like what he wanted. Right. And so it's like, he was waiting for it. And so I understand there's others like that too. So, that this is for you. I see Eddie here asked a question, real estate laws differ from states. Absolutely. Every state is different. Do the docs apply in, you mentioned a few states there. I've done deals in 2 of those states. They've worked there. A lot of the thing with states is what I'll say about the sales documents, the financing documents, things like that are, if anybody tells you that they're boilerplate and they work at every state, they're full of it. That's not true. They're just lying to you. Every state has different laws and different rules and things like that. The best thing to do is to basically, when you're ready to start doing them, just have your attorney or your title company look at them, and just make sure that there's nothing missing or nothing that needs to be added. I can tell you straight up, in all the states that I've worked in, I haven't worked in a ton of them, but I've worked in like 5 or 6. It's never major. They don't ever redo the whole thing. The document as it stands, all of them stand still and stand on their own, for 99%. It's change this sentence or add this sentence or add this wording, or, oh, they're doing this because this is here. It needs to be a notarized document, or, with financing agreements, or it doesn't need to be notarized. It needs 2 witnesses, or it doesn't need witnesses. Whatever. It's all different. That's the stuff that changes. So the documents as a whole, the package of them, you're going to be good for the vast majority of it, but there may be little nuances in there that are state specific that you need to do, that you need to address, from with your title company or with your attorney. If you already have a relationship with them, if you're going to give them closings, they probably won't even charge you to look at them, because it's going to be such a you're not asking them to create them. You're asking them just to read it and make sure it's good. That's all.
That's true. So Julie Casey asks, so is there a package to keep doing the group training? We don't have a package for continuing to do the group training, Julie, but you can reach out to myself or John, and if it's something you guys wanted to do again or something like that, and we could work something out for you. Do you have a CRM of your own? We do not have a CRM of our own currently. Stay tuned. We are trying to work on something to keep the price down. The problem is that we see, it's not a problem, but obviously all CRMs, they cost a lot of money. to develop, but not only that, they cost a lot of money to maintain. That's why a lot of these, people that have CRMs are charging upwards of $200 and so on and so forth. So we're trying to come up with something. We may have something in the works, but we're trying to come up with something that, or we do have something in the works, I should say. It's not 100%, so I'm not going to say, hey, yes, we got something that's coming out next week. We don't, but we're trying to come up with something to try to keep that price point around 100, 120-ish or so dollars a month, but still giving you everything that you need in the CRM in order to be successful with the business. So, again, it's something that we're working on. We're trying our hardest and our best to try to keep it at that lower price point. It's not going to be a lower end CRM. It's still going to be a high end CRM, but the price is going to be cheaper. Again, everything that we try to bring to people, we're trying to bring it not only the value, but we're also trying to keep the price down. Again, we've been in this business for many years. We know what pretty much everybody else is doing out here, what they're doing, how they're doing it, what they're missing. And that's why we're coming up with our stuff to make sure that we're capitalizing on what other people are missing or intentionally not doing, from being in this business and working with so many speakers and things of that nature for so many years. So,
and also not being tied in, I think, is a huge thing too, that a lot of people, being stuck using, a certain template, or being stuck using a certain, printing situation, or only blind offers, or whatever it may be.
yeah.
So when you add a lot of moving parts in, one of two things happens. Either the price goes through the roof, or the quality goes through the floor, right? It's like one or the other. And we've seen both of those. We've seen, we've seen it on both ends, where it's like the pricing, you're basically pricing yourself out before you can even get going, unless you're really, I could pay for it. Genius could pay for it. Okay, great. We're in the minority. We understand that. We want to help you guys get to our level, but it's like, we understand you're also not there yet, most of you. And some of you are brand new. You're not going to be able to go out and dump that kind of money to begin with. So we understand that. Also on top of that is the other side, where it's like, well, you get a cheaper version, but it's headaches. The quality's not there. It lags. It has all these issues you're always dealing with. So now your time is getting wasted. So trying to balance that out for you. Now, we will say, if you're, I don't know who asked that question. If it's somebody advanced and you have some money, then you want to go get it, you can. But at the same time, I ran my entire business the first 2 years when I was building it up off of Excel. And we talk about that in the
group training
course, right? In the course itself. It's like, you can do, I'm not saying it's the best thing to do, but it works. Don't get me wrong. It works. It's, and you can do different things and save yourself some money and build up. And we talk about that a lot, getting in the right mindset in there, putting things in steps. I think a lot of people out there, their goal, and let's be straight up, they want to just sell you everything. You know what? To be super successful in this business, you need the course, and you need training, and you need a CRM, and you need it. And they tell you need all these 5 things. You need them right now. And I 100% agree with that statement that you do need all those things. But I 100% disagree that you need them all right now, because you're going to put yourself out of business before you even get into business. So that's why we're coming out here with this product. And here's this course that you can get it for $650 right now. And you can learn how to do this business. And that's all you need to expend other than marketing right now. And obviously your time as you're putting that in. And then from there, you can add in those other pieces as you go. You can get better training. You can get a CRM. You can do those other things that, bring you up and put you into that same realm and put you into that same business level. And I'm not saying that it's going to take 5 years. It could take you 6 months, right? It doesn't have to be long. But at the same time, we realize that for some people, that's just too much to dump all on them at once and expect it. Oh, the only way you're going to be successful is to give us $10,000 right now. Okay.
Well,
that's not true.
Another thing we've been thinking, right? A lot of people have been telling us to do this 6-week training. Why don't you break it down and do it over a few days, right? And the reason why we haven't, and we've been a little reluctant, is because we like the approach of being able to follow along, right? Where it's like, okay, we do this and this week, you follow along, you go out there and follow what we're doing. Everybody wants us to do it. We don't want to jam too much information on you, and then you end up doing nothing with it because you're confused, right? So that's the reason why we try to do some of the things that we do is with you guys in mind at the end of the day, right? And also from being in this industry and talking to a lot of people, especially myself, talking to hundreds of people a month that have struggled, that have done great, getting all the different feedback is why we make some of these decisions that we make. So there is another question, Jonathan, which I think is a really good question. What are the key business structure items you need to implement initially that'll help you long term?
I don't even see that question. I must not have.
Yeah, there's a few different ones. I don't know where this one came from, but I just got it. So
okay, I don't see it. So what was it again?
What are the key business structure items you need to implement initially that will help long term? That will help you long term.
Initially, honestly, nothing, because you can handle it. It's something you're going to want to get rid of quickly. Don't get me wrong. But we also tell people don't hold back because you can't. Outsourcing mail and having that out of your hair and figuring out something for the calls coming in, both of those things, and that's included in the system. Honestly, both of those things are gone over in detail. This is what you can do on your own. This is what, if you're ready to spend a little bit of money and you want to outsource it, this is what you can do, and hybrid versions. We break that all down for you in that system there. But to start with, from day one, you can do some of this stuff yourself. It's going to take time, obviously. You'd have to give up some time to do that. But you could do some of this stuff yourself to save the money, to make sure that you can get the deals going. Then from there, you could implement it. Now, if you have some extra money, then obviously you could put those systems in place right from the beginning and bring your scalability up right from the beginning with things. So, and again, that's all discussed in these lessons here throughout it. We're not holding, what you're asking is included in there 100%.
Yeah. And in the resources, it breaks it down. So when you're ready to get to that point of scaling and start outsourcing and things of that nature, it's all in there already. Yeah. So, it's true. If you have money, it makes things easier to get going and outsource. If you don't have a lot of money, then you need a little bit of time, because that's when you're going to need to go in there and do a lot of the stuff manually, I would say, doing it on your own until you get to that point of wanting to spend more. And neither way is the right or wrong way. One is just a little bit slower than the other, right? You're still going to, at the end of the day, get to the same place as long as you stay consistent, continue to take action, and do what it takes. You're going to get to the same place at the end of the day. It's just one way is going to get you there a little bit slower because you don't have the funds and it's going to take more time. Versus the other way, you make a few phone calls, click a few buttons, and everything is done for you already. So because you have the money.
And that is something I would say, we talk about this in there. Gina said it, there's no right or wrong way. Some people always talk about the best way to do things. There's no best way. The best way to do things is what's best for you right now. And we talk about that in there. That can change. Today is March 16th. If you buy this right today and start going with it, what's best for you today on March 16th is not going to be the same as what's best for you on September 16th, right? So you need to reevaluate that thing. So it's what's best for you right now to get to your desired results, So there's many different ways to get there. Is it a way to, is it what we're talking about here today, starting out, the best thing to do to run a business and scale it? Absolutely not, right? You will need to have adjustments going along, but you're also not there yet. So anybody that tells you, and I'm going to tell you straight up, because I know people do this and we're trying to be honest, and people tell you straight up, like, if you buy all of this stuff right now, within 30 days, you can have an up and running business and you're going to be making mad money. No, ain't going to happen. Could it be possible that you hit a great deal? You just happen to hit one And so it looks like you've done great because you made 30 grand. Sure, that's possible, right? But that's not a business. It just means you did a big deal. It doesn't, that's a big difference, right? A business is sustainability. A business is constant deals coming in, constant deals going out, everything happening, everything running, right? It's not deal, it's deal flow, not one giant deal. I mean, unless you do a $100 million deal and never need to do a deal again in your life, right? Which isn't going to happen, straight up, right? It's not going to happen. So it's like, you need to understand that, moving forward. We're just trying to be honest with everybody,
Plus all the hype. Plus all the hype of this. This is valued at 20,000. This is valued at 3,000. The total value is 98,000, but I'm gonna sell it to you for $1,200. As you can see, we don't even put that on our stuff because to us it makes no sense. If you don't see the value in it, you don't see the value in it. That's fine. If you do see the value in it, move on with it, and we're there along to help you out. I mean, as a lot of people can see, we've given a lot of value in the group, absolutely free to a lot of people that haven't even spent $1 with us, and it is what it is, right? That's what we're here for, to try to bring value, provide value, at the same time, stay relevant and continue to do deals ourselves.
The value is one or two values in reality. It's either zero or it's priceless. If you do nothing with it and you sit on it, then there's no value because it's your fault. You're not doing anything, right? If you use it, then it's priceless because the sky's the limit. It turns your life around. We're leaving next week for vacation. We just, we were gone skiing for, we came back for a little over a month. We're leaving next week. A month after that, we're going to Mexico. We've got a trip. I travel a lot. I'm enjoying my family, but at the same time, I'm running this business. I'm running my land business. I have these things in place, right? To me, all of this information is priceless. It allows me to do those things. You can do the same thing. Gina's talked about that, right? With his deals and spending time with his family. And he goes to visit his parents like every other month or every month. I feel it's like he's up there all the time. He's like, oh, I'm talking to you from Ohio, right? It's like, if that's what matters to you, then the value of it is through the roof, right? Because you can get there with it. But if you do nothing with it, then I'm going to tell you straight up there. I'm not saying that it doesn't have value, but to you, it's not worth anything, right? Because you didn't do anything with it. You just sat on your hands and you have nobody to blame but yourself. So again, just really quick, so we can, so everybody understands what's included. We'll try to hit this up, and then if there's any other questions,
answer this question real quick before we do that, because it just goes right into what you were talking about, traveling and so forth, and then we'll get into what's included. I like to know how to do this business while traveling. My husband keeps scheduling trips for us, and I find it hard to do business while traveling, let alone having internet or phone reception in a lot of areas. Can you help us learn how to do this business while traveling?
Well, the phone and internet is the issue. I mean, the traveling is not the issue, right? My business is run off of two items: a computer and a telephone. So as long as I can use those two items, I can do it from anywhere in the world. Yeah. I also limit how I do my work. So when I'm on vacations and when I'm traveling and when I'm doing that, that's not when I'm putting the main focus. That's when I'm maybe talking to buyers, and the only thing I'm going to be dealing with is sending out contracts, right, to my buyers. I have my mail set up through mailing out. Like right now, we have our mail set up through the end of this month. It's all done. It's not all being spent right now, but it's done through the end of this month. No mail to worry about as far as going out. That's already automated and done. Our phone calls are automated.
And if you use a mail house, and if you use a mail house, they do all that for you. If you use a call center, they'll take the calls for you. So yeah, I mean, it's as far, getting back into what Jonathan's saying, you need to stay somewhere where they have good internet service when you do travel, and you need to make sure you have Verizon or a good phone service, because you definitely need those two things in order to do the business while you're out. But you also have to set time aside. If you don't want to do it while you're on vacation, don't, unless obviously a buyer's calling you to buy something from you. But sellers and things of that nature, we're not answering anyways, while we're on vacation. At that point, we have other people doing that for us.
And in my case, it is vacation. Now, if you're talking about, I'm taking half the year off or the year off because I'm retired and I'm in an RV driving 10,000 miles across the country, that's a little different, right? Then that's where you have to sit there and say, well, I'm going to sit down at the table and do a little bit of work in the RV, right? Because you basically have made that decision to do that for 6 months or a year. But if it's for a week, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's like get everything lined up in advance and then only be talking. And if you're in an area where you have no cell service, then wait till you're in one that does. I mean, nothing's going to disappear. I mean, if a buyer calls you and you're in the middle of nowhere, but the next day you're not going to be, or 2 days, then call them 2 days later, right? It's like you don't need to worry about it instantaneously either. So that's the nice thing about this business. That's big difference than houses, right? It's like houses, you better act. You're going to lose it, right? There's a hot deal on a house. You better go sign it immediately or else you're going to lose it. That's not true with land. Same thing with buyers. Buyer tells you they want to buy your house and you hem and haw over it. In this market, they're probably going to try to find a different house, right? Yep. Whereas a piece of land, it's like if a buyer comes and tells us we're interested and I'm away and I tell them I'm away or I tell them I was away, then, I was, that was it. I mean, and so you get back to them a couple of days later, basically, I mean, like, for example, our last trip, we were skiing. I was on the mountain all day. We were going out to dinner. We were doing different things. When I went back to we rented a house. When I went back at night, I'd sit there for 20 minutes, maybe answering some messages, answering from phone calls, sent out a couple of agreements from my computer if I needed to. And that was it. That was it. That was done. So again, having everything lined up in advance to be able to take care of that.
Yeah. So somebody asked, what are the actual components of the land method? And I know we were getting ready to get into like what's included, what you get, and all of this good stuff. So, the one thing obviously is the training modules. It's our 10-step process broken down step by step, exactly how we invest in every deal, right? You get the audio version of the modules. So if you're in your car, you want to listen, you got a 45-minute drive to work every day, you can listen to these modules. You can listen to them while you're driving. The transcripts of the modules. So for those that like to read and they're more visual kind of, they can read. Has those as well. There's bonus training modules. Again, tips to help you in many different situations. Then we have the Turbo Start training, which again is just more of like a shortcut, help you kind of take action right away. So you don't have to go through all of these steps and listen to all of these modules and so forth, which is not many, to be honest. The document library, again, has all the contracts, scripts, letters, forms, everything that you need in order to be successful in the business. Okay, you have the offer calculator, and that is basically a calculator that's going to help you make the right offer in today's market. At the end of the day, you'll see what we recommend, but ultimately, you decide what you're going to make an offer on, in today's market. But we show you our recommendations based on price points and things of that nature. And then we provide you with support, any help when you're stuck, things of that nature. It's not coaching. Let me be clear with everybody, right? People think, oh, let me spend $600 and I'm going to be in their coaching. It's not coaching. It's if you don't understand something in a module, things of that nature, you can, reach out to us via email, support@thelandmethod.com. Ask us some questions and we'll answer them for you. You got the group, obviously this group is a great resource to help you out as well as you continue to move forward, take action, have questions. There's a lot of helpful people in this group outside of myself, Jonathan, Keely, and John. There's other people in the group that are pretty successful that are willing to help and answer questions. And I encourage everybody to do that. I talked to a gentleman yesterday that purchased a system and, he's an experienced land agent, things. And, the one thing I told him also, if you got questions, ask them in a group, but also if you know the answer to questions, answer them in a group as well, right? They don't always need to hear from myself and Jonathan. They want to just hear from people that have been in that situation that can help them get through that situation that they're in, right? So, and then we do have, a few bonuses for taking action. One-on-one strategy session with Jonathan or someone from the team, myself, John, someone from the team that can help you get the most out of the system. You get free upgrades for life. So anytime we update a module, a document, the calculator, whatever it is, if we decide to add something to the course, you're automatically going to get it for free. So, and then you also get 2 tickets to our upcoming live event that, we'll be alerting you guys about later on sometime this year. And it's not going to be a big, kind of pitch fest and things of that nature. It's more of going through the system to help you guys out in the setting that's live, right? So, you'll get 2 tickets to that at $97 each. And, again, that's in essence, that's what you're getting with the system. But you're getting the knowledge that Jonathan has put together over the last 11 years, doing over 100 deals a year. My 2 cents on, me doing in the 30 to 40 deal range over the last 6-7 years on the land side. Kind of putting all that together, all the knowledge of the real world stuff that we're doing today to kind of help you guys get started, get going, close more deals, and help you really reach your goals at the end of the day.
Yeah, one of the things I want to add, a couple things is, first, one thing we didn't mention, there's also a bunch of videos in there on like how to do things. So they're short, but they're basically like how to do X. Because a lot of times we've realized people have no clue, and it's simple. How do I mail merge my documents? How do I set up my call center? How do I set up my mailing? How do I do any of that stuff? How do I download data from
post on
data?
Facebook?
Yeah. How do I make a marketplace ad? How do I, whatever it is. So there's a bunch of different versions of those, that are in there, sharing screens and showing you guys how to do these things that we talk about. And those will be changed or updated as needed, because obviously if the way it's done is changed because of the provider, then we have to change it, right? And obviously if we start using something else, when the next new greatest thing comes out that everybody's running to, then, we're going to talk about that as well. The other thing I want to talk about was just with the videos themselves. Gina said, they're not that long and there's not that many of them. And the reason for that is, simply put, it's just straight up, and here it is. We could have made 30 videos like other people do that are training.
Hour each.
And they're an hour each, but there's only 10 minutes of content, because all it is showing you testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. And it's like, well, why do you need to see that, right? You've already purchased the program. Why do you need to be convinced that you look how amazing this person? It's like, well, why? There's no reason, right? So in this here, we have a number of videos. They range from 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how detailed of a situation it is. But it's jumping right in. It's here it is. This is how we do it. This is how it's explained. Here's sharing the screen. Here, whatever it may be for the different thing. Of this is actually how to do it. This is how we comp a property. This is how we figure out if an area is good. Sharing the screen to let you see those things. All of that different stuff. This is it. So it's not that it's less content. It's actually more content. It's just more concentrated. Rather than wasting your time with hours and hours and hours of videos and lessons. It's like, well, here it is in a few hours. It's still a number of hours. But it's like, here it is in that time. And here it is just all to you, so that you can just implement it instead of like weeding through trying to figure out, where's the lesson here.
It's not confusing at the end of the day is the point I think we're trying to make, is that, a lot of times, and I believe it's done purposely, that it's meant to be somewhat confusing, right? Because then you ask for more help and need more help at the end of the day, right? Whereas ours is kind of straight to the point. There's no way you can get confused, right? And then because it's straight to the point, it's not too much information where you might have learned in the first 5 minutes of the video, and then they going on tangents, and then by the end of the video, you forgot everything you learned because you were it confused you, right? Ours is just focused solely on that one thing that we're discussing, and then it's on to the next one, and then on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So again, it's pretty straight to the point. And we don't want to confuse you. We want you to do deals, right? Because we believe if you do deals, you're more than likely going to let the next person know that you meet at a RIA group, or that you meet at an event or something like that. Like, hey man, these guys are pretty straightforward. These guys got a system that's great. It's very inexpensive. And then obviously it doesn't work for everybody, right? Some people need more help. That's why we offer different services, because some people feel like, okay, well, I've done this. Now I want to get to this level. Can you help me? Right? Or now I want to do this. Can you help me? So obviously that's why there's other services, but it's not things that will be pushed on you. Unfortunately, We're not going to call you and say, hey, you need to do this. If you're struggling, if you can't figure it out, it's going to be suggested to you, right? At the end of the day. But at the end of the day, you make your own decisions on anything you want to do with us. And that's how we will always be.
And one thing I'll say, you know, guys, I mean, we're not about hype. We're not about do this and that, you know, but I will say straight up, this deal, it's one time and it's just for you. I mean, here's the reality, right? If you're going to pay $12.97, I mean, $12.90, yeah. If you were going to pay $6.50, you'd pay $12.97, right? You buy it for that. It's not a huge difference in price, right? The 50% off is just a discount bonus that we're just doing just because so many of you asked us and you've been with us from the beginning. And so it's just a favor. It's really all it is. It's like, hey, you know what? You guys have been doing this. So you said, so here it is, 50% off. If we did it at 10% off or 20% off, or you'd still be like, okay, I'll still do it, right? But because of who you are, the ones watching this, you know, we're watching a bunch of you, you know, number of you watching this right now, listening after and things like that. You've been doing that from the beginning. So great. You're here for us. So because of that, we want to reward you is basically all it is. So I'm not hyping it up, but I'm telling you straight up, it's gone. That's it. We're putting it out there. We've put it out there for a number of days now. It's a limited number that we're allowing to do that because it's the ones that we really want to say thank you to and let them have it. But after that, that price, it isn't coming back. So just straight up, honest, you know, that's the way it is.
Not only that, we know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is as soon as we take this down, a lot of people are going to call us and say, hey, man, I'm interested in the course. Can I still get that 50% off? You cannot get the 50% off once it's done. I'm telling you guys right now, if it's something you have an interest in, take advantage of it now at $648.50. Once the deal is gone, we're not going to honor that price anymore because we're not trying to we're not devaluing our product. We're trying to help those out that are in our group. Again, once we get this out to market, which is going to be real soon, it's going back up to regular price and everybody's going to pay the same price, right? We're not going to give one person a discount and not the other person. If you see this up, take advantage of it. Once it goes down, it goes down.
Yeah. Especially since it wasn't like we weren't fair with it. We didn't even need to do it. But then when we decided to do it for all of you, we put it out there very clearly. This is what it is. So to, you know, if you're sitting there and saying like, oh, you know, I'm just going to keep waiting. I'm going to keep waiting. And then all of a sudden it's like, it's gone. And like, I wanted, you know what? You had plenty of opportunity, right? And you chose not to act. So again, you know, just something, again, we're not hyping it up. I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm just being honest with you. If you want it, I mean, honestly, if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it at $650. You're going to buy it at $12.97, but why not buy it at $650? Why? That's a bunch of mail, right? In reality, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price. I like that. That's Genus probably likes that line because it's from draft day and it's his favorite team, right? The Cleveland Browns. We do not live in the same world that we lived in 30 seconds ago, right? That's absolutely true. So
the Fat Joe, but also I want to say one thing real quick. Again, thank everyone that purchased. I know a few people purchased just here recently today. I want to thank you guys for purchasing and believing in us. But I want to say something for those that have purchased the system already. The back end, the membership site doesn't look great today, right? It's being worked on. It's going to all be redone in the next few weeks. It's going to look amazing. The user experience is going to be much better than what it looks today. We just had it initially built on another platform that wasn't the greatest. So now we got a new guy that's redoing it. So it's an all-in-one kind of, we won't have to mess with it no more once he finishes this time. So just bear with us a little bit. It'll get better.
The content will not change though, just so you know.
The content won't change.
For anybody that's sitting there being like, oh, I'm hearing that and I want to wait because I want, no, there's no content. It's just the right now it's kind of all in like one long menu and to click it, you just got to scroll and that's going to go away. It's just going to be clicking buttons instead. The user experience
is going to be better. Yeah. The design, the user experience, everything's going to be much better soon. But again, it's the content's all the same. Nothing's going to change on the content. The way you click on it, the way the way word things will be a little different, but all the content, all the videos will all be the same. So I just wanted to let you guys know that also.
And somebody did ask, I mean, we're running out of time here. If you have any last minute questions, type them in really quick right now because we've got to wrap this up. But somebody said, if I hit a glitch in a deal, what's the hourly rate for one-on-one coaching from either of you? So if you hit a glitch in a deal and it's minor, then email or post it in the group. We already talked about that, right? That's your best. That group is a good resource. And we're in there answering questions. We're answering stuff all the time about glitches in a deal. if it's a major glitch, and that's where you pick up the phone, you have that conversation and find out if that is the right source. So there's no hourly rate. There's no hourly rate for that type of thing. So it's whether or not something makes sense and it's a good fit, and whether or not going into the group training makes sense. A lot of it is just variable, and we're going to tell you what's best for you based on that situation. But people run into little, what you call a glitch, or somebody might view it as a big hurdle or a roadblock, and more those of us who are more experienced call them speed bumps, or not even anything, right? Because it's just deal flow. And so because of that, if you're new and that's happening, it's, just ask in the group or shoot an email. And it may be, I shouldn't even say that, more times than not, it's a very simple solution, because we create bigger issues in our mind with what we think is a major problem, and it's really not.
Yep, that's true. That's true. So yeah, any other questions, guys? Ask them now. If not, then we'll let you guys off, man. Keely, you see any other questions, Keely? Looks like we're good. Guys, again, we want to thank you for your time. We want to thank you for, joining us on this live, listening to it later on the podcast format or on YouTube. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to speak with someone, 980-357-4545. Email us support@thelandmethod.com. Or again, send us a DM, John Hearn on Facebook in the group, Keely Jones or Genus Garcia. Reach out to either of us and we can hop on a quick call with you, answer some questions, and just see if it's a good fit for you. But like we said, I think this deal will be coming down in the next few days. So take advantage of it now. When it's gone, it's gone. And we will not honor it at that half price when you call us asking for it, because I know it's going to happen. It happens all the time.
All right. I think we're good. So guys, thank you so much for I'm just scrolling through to make sure we didn't miss anything. It looks like it's all just thank you stuff. So thank you guys. And honestly, for those of you taking action and doing this, congratulations to you, changing your life and adding something new. And if you're not, not that I'm trying to sell it. This is just a serious question to ask yourself. If you're not taking action, you're thinking about it. What's holding you back? Because it's a very almost, non-existent. I'm not saying it's nothing. $650 is a lot of money to some people, right? But in the reality, for what it's getting you and for what you're learning, and people charge $200 for a single document, and you're getting dozens of them, right? So it's like, if you're sitting on the fence, then I'm not sitting there saying like you're got to get off that fence and do it right now. It's an internal question for you in your own mind. What's holding you back? What are you waiting for at that point? Because it's relatively speaking, that's a pretty small number, right? For most people in today's world. And with the way the economy is and the way inflation is right now, and gas prices is insane numbers, and all these things that are adding to the cost of living, doesn't looking for something that can help you offset that. Inflation's at 10%. Great. Well, if you're bringing your income up by 30%, then you don't care. No offense. Do I like paying $4.50 for a gallon of gas? No. Is it hurting me though? Is putting that credit card in and I don't even think about it. It's just I pump my tank and I'm off, right? It's the same thing at the grocery store. My wife went there yesterday and I was asking her, I was like, did you notice a difference in the grocery price? And she's like, I didn't even think about it. She's like, maybe, because we don't need to, right? So if those are the things that you're concerned about, this is what can help you. This is what can help you get over that. This is what can help you get past that. These are the things that, when you're buying, even in small deals, you buy a piece of property for a few $100s and you sell it for a few $1,000s. It's like, how much did an extra few $1,000s help you right now? And those deals are to be had everywhere, right? Or what Gina's talking about, how would a $100,000 profit deal help you? Right? How, or 40 grand. Some people don't make that in a year.
By the way, this would be double. This deal that I'm closing will be pretty much double the biggest deal I've ever done. It'll be just under double the amount.
But you're talking 100. What'd you say next week?
115, 116.
So you're talking $160,000 in 2 weeks. And I'm not saying that's a normal 2 weeks, but some people don't make that in 3 years, 4 years, in 2 weeks. So again, there's something, this is all what's included. This is what's in there to help you. We're following, this is our advice. This is what we do. So it's the same stuff. You can go out and do these same deals. So if you're concerned about these things, if you're concerned about what's happening, if you're concerned about, which we all should be, right? But if it's such a huge concern in your pocketbook that you're sitting there or your wallet and you're like, oh my word, how am I? This is something that can help you get over that, even implementing it slightly. Because again, like I said, if you could buy a single piece of property for $5,000 and sell it for $15,000, how much would an extra $10,000 help you, right? And how about if you did it a few times a year, just part-time, and you're talking 40, 50 grand.
And one little food for thought before we let you guys go. Jonathan has done over 100 deals for probably the last 8 to 10 years at least, right? He's done over 1,000 real, true deals that he's done. And he's showing you guys exactly how he's doing this every single day with the system, right? That in itself is invaluable. Even if you were to do just one deal and made $4,000 or $5,000, even if you did one deal and made $2,000, you're getting back 3 times your investment on the system. And then you still have that information to go out there and make more money
for life,
as well as all the documents to continue to help you with your life and your business moving forward. So if somebody says it's not worth it, hey, more power to them, meaning they probably won't ever do anything in this real estate game anyways. So just
you have the information that you said to do it again. You have the information for life to do it again, not just the information. So, and one thing I'll say is straight up, I've never done a deal that low. I've never done a deal that I've only profited $650. My lowest profit is about $2,000. My lowest, up over 100, and 2 is very bad to me. So, that alone would be 3 to 4 times the investment on the worst deal that I've done. So just so you guys understand, what's in there and what's included. But again, we're not going to hype it up more. It's again, I said I wasn't even doing that at the end for hyping. It was for mindset, because that's a big part of what I do. Is like, I want you guys to think, what's important to you, what matters to you, where do you want to go, how do you want to do it? Is your current situation getting you there? And if it's not, what can you do that's different? Or if it is, but it's costing you, you're an attorney or you're a doctor and you're working 100 hours a week to do it. Do you want to keep doing that? Right? So there's that side of it too. So if your current situation isn't getting you there, or if you're unhappy with how it's getting you there, then you obviously need to look for something else.
Yep.
And one other thing just to add, and I should say, because I know it's probably a lot of people watching, is, how is, you've heard it before, right? There's 10 other people saying the same things, right? And you got burned. It's possible, right? So try it out. I mean, again, what do you have if you're already done it and you've tested it and you're like, how can it be different? Again, at that price point, what do you have to lose? There's 0 to lose. If you pick up one extra thing, one extra document, one extra point, one extra anything, it's well more than worth it from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, guys, we want to thank you guys so much for the opportunity, for you guys listening to us. And, as we said, that deal will be going away soon in the next few days. I would say at the very least, probably over the weekend. We're going to try to give you guys a few days to still, go out there if you're thinking about it, to jump on either side of the fence, whether you jump off and say, I don't want it, or you jump on and go out there and get it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, email us support@thelandmethod.com. If you want ready to purchase, go to landrichsblueprint.com. Code is 50 off. That's 50, capital O, capital F, capital F. It has to be in caps. You can go right on the website. It'll break everything down for you, what's included, what you get, it breaks everything down for you there. If you want to speak with somebody, call us 980-357-4545. Myself, John, one of us will be able to help you out, answer your questions, and find out if it's a good fit for you. Again, our phone number again, 980-357-4545. Our email support@thelandmethod.com. Again, we want to thank you guys for being with us today. Those that will be listening later via podcast or on YouTube or watching on YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah. And somebody just asked if there's a way to share this with the replay. They can join the group. It'll still be in the group, or our YouTube channel as well. YouTube.com, and it's just the Land Method. Either of those, they're out in their public. So either, if a friend wants to watch it, again, they're welcome to join the Land Method group. It's an open group, as long as they agree to our rules. And then again, if not, then YouTube, it'll be on YouTube, and they can
go to any of the podcast formats, any of the streaming services, and go download the Crushing
Land
Land
listen to it. Yeah.
And then you can listen to it on there as well. So cool.
Yeah. It'll be under Crushing Land, just because we do this every Wednesday. So this is our Crushing Land. You can see it here, over my shoulder and over Gina's shoulder. So on YouTube or the podcast, look for Crushing Land, and you'll find them. So, and just really quick for me, guys. Now I got some messages from Keely here on different ones that have been buying, and so just thank you to those of you who took action already and during this and wanted to jump in and do this. So congratulations to you for wanting to effectuate change in your life. We're happy for you guys, and you're to be commended for that. And I'll thank in advance those of you who are purchasing after the fact, and those who are listening and are going to do that. Even if it's in a couple of days, you're listening to this by chance and you buy it then. So congratulations to you guys, and thank you, for having those changes and you're making those changes in your life and wanting to move forward. And again, if you're not and you're on the fence, then again, I'm not trying to push you into sale, but seriously, just look and look back and say, why not? What do I need to do? Because the worst thing to do is just refusing to move. There's a quote I remember hearing before, is failing's not falling, it's refusing to get back up. So if you're afraid of that and you're concerned about that and all of that, then it's like, well, you've had bad experiences, you just got to get back up and you got to keep plowing. And the reason that we're even able to bring you this information and are able to help you and able to do these things is because we did that, right? We weren't successful in everything we did immediately. You have to figure it out. And so we're helping you cut that out of your life.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, you guys have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the group, and we'll be seeing you guys soon. Have a good one.
See you later.